Hi guys, hello and welcome back to another video right here on Chit. So it's that time again for another board game review and unboxing. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to start a little mini series for the remainder of 2025 featuring the Marvel United board game. So I'm going to unbox and show you the core set today, and then for the next 5 months I'm going to show you an expansion. So come around Christmas time, the end of the year, you'll have a good idea what this little game's all about and the kind of content you can get for it. Okay, so quickly before we start, for some reason the core box set arrives in 2 variations. So there's this one, which is the Avengers one, or there's the one I'm going to do for you today, which is the X-Men. Okay, so a lot of Marvel fans kind of go between Avengers or the X-Men. I started out loving the Avengers with Captain America, but last sort of 12 months I've become more of like an X-Men guy. So previously I've unboxed this on my main channel, Nick's, as Marvel United Avengers. So we're starting afresh today with Marvel United, the X-Men version, and the rest of the series. Okay, so there is the box. So we can see straight away it's like cartoonized, and we've got all our usual guys. My boy Wolverine is on the front there, along with like Magneto and all the rest of the crew. There is the back of the box. Okay, so let's get a little knife out. Even got Wolverine colours today. And open the cellophane. Like I say, I have played the Avengers edition with my partner. I played it solo. Not played it in a group yet, and this game works really well. It's one of those where you're pretty much doing everything. So you choose like your team of heroes, and you control each hero, do their actions, and then the game will do, the Automa will do its actions, and then we go like that until you either get overrun with bad guys or the villain achieves his objective. Okay, so there we go. That's now got the cellophane off. Let me give you a little read to give you a quick idea, if I haven't already kind of butchered what everything's about. Okay, X-Men, Marvel United. In a battle for mutant acceptance, the Brotherhood of Mutants see themselves as superior to ordinary people, hatching villainous plans to bend mankind to their will. But the X-Men uphold the principle that mutants and humans should live as equals and rise to meet every challenge. They'll travel the world in a desperate struggle to protect the innocent, face down dire threats and confront these villains once and for all. As the fate of mankind hangs in the balance, the X-Men will stand united. Okay, so there is the back of the box in more detail, and you can see we get some lovely little these like chibi kind of figures, little kind of chunky figures. Okay, and in there we get Professor X, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast, Wolverine and Storm. A nice little selection. And we're going to be opposed by Juggernaut, Sabretooth, Mystique and Magneto. So take on the role of iconic X-Men, cooperating to stop the master plan of a powerful villain controlled either by the game or by another player. So that could be fun. It could be like one player versus all kind of thing. Each villain unveils their unique master plan with cards that trigger different effects and threats to pose challenges across the different locations. Heroes must choose the cards to play from their unique deck carefully. They not only offer different actions and superpowers to use, but also combine with the actions of other heroes to do the impossible. Build your storyline, unite the powers, and save the day. And there's a great big components. I can't even get that out today. Do you know what it was? I was looking and saw English and then like French. A big component list. I'm not going to read that through. Let's get into the box and let's have a look, because we'll see that as we go along. Okay, so on the box it says 1 to 5 players, age 14 plus. Knowledge of English required. Now, I'd even question that, because each player gets cards, and on the cards are symbols, and for things like hit, attack, move, things like that. They're just basic symbology, which you will see, which is nice. Okay, let's get that out the way. And straight away, free CMON content. CMON, of course, Cool Mini or Not, the company that make the game, and a little QR code for anybody there who wants a blast of that. You pause it and click away. We get the instruction book. Again, look at the artwork. And straight away on the back, everyone knows I love rules summaries. Okay, so I'm going to put the rule book aside for a couple of minutes and let's go through what's going on. Okay, so straight away we are met with some tokens. Okay, these are double-sided tokens, so you've got like villains and things like that, and hazards and all this type of stuff there, which will become more apparent as we go through. Okay, there's some tokens there. Looks like right, okay, yeah, I'll explain these through. So the one there with all the colours is like a wild token. That means you can pick any of your actions. And then you've got, obviously, attack. You've got move. You've got the little stars. What they're called for now, just the name escapes me, but they can be given as like little bonuses. And these are various tokens for the game that are required. Look at the way it's laid out. That's nice there. So you can see like all your figures and all your bits and bobs. So yeah, this game does play really, really well. It really does. As I say, I've played the Avengers edition. It's exactly the same with the exception of the heroes and the bad guys. Okay, so straight away we get some locations. These are laid out across the board, across the table to find out where we're going. So you've got a nice little strap on them there. I'm going to take that off. He says, trusty knife. Okay, so they've got the Marvel United background there. So we have Muir Island, the Mutant Research Centre. So at the end of the turn here, another hero in this or an adjacent location may draw one card. So basically, you see little gaps across the top here, and what happens is like the enemy will put like sorts of different henchmen, stuff like that. It's your job to go around the map, clear those guys off, and then you basically clear this tile. You then get the end of action turn. Genosha. You may rescue one civilian from this location at the end of the turn. So again, even the art is lovely. It's just typical Marvel, isn't it? The X-Jet, at the end of the turn, you may move to another location, which is nice because, you know, obviously it's a jet, isn't it? Asteroid M, at the end of the turn, you may deal 1 damage to a henchman or a henchman in any location. Weapon X Facility, you may discard 1 card from your hand to the bottom of your deck to gain 2 attack tokens, which is always nice. So it's that kind of gamble mechanic. Sentinel Space Station, you may discard 1 card from your hand to the bottom of your deck to swap a card from your hand with one of your face-up cards in your storyline. Okay, so a little bit of deck manipulation through that location. The Hangar Bay, you may gain 1 token, either a move, a special or a hit. And of course, the Xavier Institute for Higher Learning, the X-Mansion, you may draw cards until you have 3 in your hand. Okay, so straight away there are, I think there's 8. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 of those, and you need to lay 6 of them out. So you'd shuffle them up, have them face up like that there, so you don't know what they are, and draw them. Or do you know, like what me and my partner Steph done? We just picked the 6 that we wanted out and put them down. So, you know, it's your game. Whatever is good. Never ever be afraid to just change little things and kind of slightly house rule them round. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so we now have a look at the different boards. Trusty knife again. Right, let's see. So what happens is there's like a villain dashboard. So you put this down first and then you slide your villain in that you want to fight like that. Okay, so that is your little board there. And then we have Magneto. So he's got special setup rules and his starting tokens he has, and there's some rules on the back. So there is Magneto. There we go. We have Mystique. Same thing again, special rules and anything that needs doing on the game's turn against you. Juggernaut. Same again. And Sabretooth, obviously Wolverine's mate. Same again. Okay, and then we get 2 decks of cards. So let's flick through them quickly. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you a couple of these, but I want to show you some of the symbols on them so I can demonstrate what I meant earlier. Put that there. Okay, so let's have a look. Right, so things like this now, these are like little sorts of tracker tokens for everyone. So defeat thugs. So you need to defeat 9 thugs to get like that side of like the mission done. Rescue 9 civilians. So you take the tokens off and put them on these little cards. Clear threats. So you need to clear 4 of the locations out. Rescue civilians. put them on there. So these are like little basically game aids where you have down on your table and you put like all little tokens on that you rescue. So within like your actions, you can kind of like, you can attack, you can rescue a civilian, that kind of thing. Let's show you a few more of these here now. Let's have a look. Right, so one of the villain's cards, strategic retreat. Trigger, the villain ends their movement in your location, or the effect, move to another location. So basically, like I say, the game is working against you and your team of heroes. Sabretooth, one of his villain cards. So the villains have their own deck and the heroes have their own deck too. So it says, his hunter centers, move to the location with a hunted hero. Have a BAM. A BAM effect is something that happens each turn for the game, for the villain, and each villain has a different one, so it might be like lose a point or do this or do that or the other. So when that BAM effect happens, it's usually not great. And you'll see in the bottom there, 3 little squares, they indicate like your location. So the middle one would be like the one that you're on. So he'd do his hunter centers there. And then either side, you see 2 of the tokens. I think they're civilian tokens. So he would basically put them out. So like the game is ever changing as you go on. Right, okay, power of Cyterac. When taking damage, heroes in this location take 1 extra damage, and I think you need to basically put 3 of the tokens on to clear that. So where like you're working is, let's have a look at one of the other heroes. There's like Mystique as well. That's like another example like what Mystique could do, where we saw Sabretooth before. So she wouldn't move 1, but then she'd do different things in the adjacent things. So basically, whenever these baddies are out on the board and they're moving, they're doing different stuff. They're putting more henchmen out. They're putting more civilians out. And all this stuff is taking time for you to actually do. And, you know, there might be like a variation, a thing like where basically, if you don't basically get done within, I don't know, you know, say 10 turns or something, that you're knackered. So it's all like basically just villainous little things, you know, that like the game, the villain like Mystique or Magneto is doing to you to stop you achieving your objectives. I mean, this does work really, really well because as a multiplayer game, firstly, you know, you are going through and like you're working along with your partner, you know, you're talking and you say, well, I'll tell you what, you go to Central Park and you do this and I'll go round to such and such and I'll do that. And then you kind of coordinate and like, you know, you're looking at like moving. So I might think, well, I might need to get to your location to help you with like the baddie, but I'm like 2 locations away, I can only move 1. What can we do? And you might have a token turn around, so I'll give you a move token. And so it's total cooperation, and in like a solo mode again, it's even better because you're almost like say Professor X in this situation. You're moving like Beast and like you're moving like Jean Grey and everyone, Cyclops around and coordinating your team. So I'd probably recommend playing it maybe in solo with like the maximum like level of players, like heroes, like say 4 heroes against like say Magneto, and you can play that like Overlord, you know. Yeah, it's really, really good. So basically, I'm going to just show you some of the hero cards now. So Beast comes first, so he can do a move and he can do an attack in each turn, henceforth with the little tokens on here. So remember what I said before about not needing to have like English as your first language? You can still understand it because of that, you know, which is nice. Let's see if I find another one. Or he can move and do like a special. Or you can do like 2 specials. So what you're doing is you're basically drawing these cards each turn, and like you use them and you're putting them in like a little sort of line. So like Jean Grey's card will go there, so you know she's gone. And then like I think there's a rule as well where you can use like the actions of like last card played. So all of it is about like coordinating your team and getting stuff done. So I say that's Beast's cards there. Like Cyclops has got 1 card here where all he can do is move. He's got another card where he can do 2 wilds. So that means he can use any one of the actions there. Where are we? Jean Grey. There's one of hers for like a special. She's got another card there with like move and attack. And then Magneto. So the villains, like I say, have their decks. So he's got like, if he pulled that there, he'd just move for 1. So you see like the way this is basically going. Mystique, a move, and then she'll attack. And then obviously, well, they do that and then like you look at their board and see like what else they do. They can be quite mischievous, some of the villains, to be fair. There's Professor X. That particular card is like a move and an attack for him. Storm, big Storm fan. One of their movement ones there. And my boy, of course, Wolverine. There he is. yeah, move and a star. So you get the idea basically, guys. So you go along, you're taking your turn and you are doing your move, do all the team moves, and then in comes the baddie to do what he does. And it's basically who hits their set of objectives first. So do you want to see some minis? Okay, let's have a crack. Look at the size of this guy. That is Juggernaut. These are, even though they're like the sort of chibis, they're so well put together, it's unreal. Just putting them back there. There's Sabretooth. I mean, anybody who paints, you know, you'd be absolutely laughing with these. Mystique. And of course, the man himself, Magneto. Right, let's go through our heroes. So we have Wolverine. We have Beast. We have Professor X. Now these two are very, very similar. So they're Storm and they are Jean Grey. There you go. Nice action poses on them. And there's, of course, the leader of the gang himself, Cyclops. So I'm going to throw them back in there. Put the box out the way, on the floor, out of shot. And I forgot all my words and everything there. Let's have a quick look at the rule book before we close down. Okay, so your rule summary on the back then, to give you an idea. 1 villain turn, then 3 clockwise heroes turns. Continue until first mission is complete. Then 1 villain turn, every 2 hero turns. So basically, the heroes will get the 3 turns amongst your team, and then a villain. And then later on, it's going to be the villain will act every 2 hero turns, which speeds things up. So villain turn, you add 1 master plan card to the storyline, and you do it. Resolve the effects in the order from top to bottom. Do what it says on the card. And then you can move clockwise with however many locations you have. So like a little swirl with the number. Say number 2 for 2 locations to move. Trigger your effect on a final location. We've seen that before on the cards. Resolve any BAM effects that it says on the threat cards or on the villain dashboard. Resolve any special effect on the card. And then also when you arrive, remember you saw the 3 little boxes said to you your location, the left and the right location. Resolve, add the indicated henchmen or civilians to the locations around the villain. Resolve any overflow effects on each location where tokens couldn't be added. So sometimes you might have like gaps for say 6 civilians, and once you've reached that level, bad things happen because you had like an overflow. You can't place one, so therefore the villain will have like a little thing he does. So you're always aware of getting along to that location. You're always aware of like, you know, I've got to clear the civilians, I've got to clear the henchmen, I've got to do this. So you're always on the go. Okay, so that's the villain turn. And then the hero. Draw a card from your deck. So draw a card from your deck into your hand. So you have a hand of cards. Play a card, so you add it down onto the storyline. Remember when I said like the cards just stay in order? Resolve the actions in any order, all the symbols at the bottom of your card than the previous. So you can move, you can deal damage, rescue a civilian, or resolve any action, any special effects on your card, spend any action tokens you resolve, and then the location effect. It may resolve visible end of turn effect of your location. So you're coming out, you're sticking a card into your hand, you're playing your hand and saying, right, this is what I'm doing, here's my card, I can move and I can attack, land on that location, hit a henchman, etc. Okay, hero damage, you discard 1 card from your hand to the bottom of your deck per damage suffered. It says KO'd, if you discard the last card in your hand, lay your hero down and activate the villain's BAM. So you can be knocked out, and the villain will have like an extra action, but it's like not game over. Next turn, stand up and draw 4 cards. So this is Marvel, folks. You know, people don't die or get, you know, just get knocked down and get back up again. Wasn't there a song that done that? And win and lose, and heroes win if they remove all health tokens from the villain, but you must complete the first 2 missions first. So do you remember I showed you those little cards that had the henchmen and the civilians? So you need to fill those up first. So you need to fill up the civilian, you need to fill up the henchman, and then you can attack the villain, because the way it seems is like, you know, you're too busy doing all this to go after him. Okay, so heroes lose if the villain completes the villainous plot on his dashboard. The villain must play a card, but the master plan deck is empty, or a hero starts their turn with no cards at all. So that there, hopefully that little summary should give you a quick idea of how the game works on top of all the components. Let's take a quick flick through. Okay, so we've got content overview and a list of all our components. How we set up and going into depth about the villain's turn. So right there, you can see how your little board, your little table looks with all your locations and the villain stuff in the middle. Activate a BAM, add thugs and civilians, special effects, playing cards, resolving actions. All this sounds a lot more complicated than what it is, because one of this game's main strengths is how easy it is to get the flow. You may not always get the cards you want, or may not always be able to do what you want, but the game itself flows nicely. Location effects, and then it tells us all about the turn sequence, and you can see that this is like really laid out, clear and concise, just the way I like it. How to complete your missions, how you use all the little mini mission boards, hero damage, challenges, and any additional rules that you may have. And on there you can actually see some of these tokens placed, so depending upon the enemy or whatever, you know, you can do that. Super villain mode. That doesn't sound good, does it? And oh, you know, the Xavier solo mode. So there are actually solo rules anyway, if you want to just sort of play as a solo player. But I tend to just play like, you know, like how you play like sort of co-op games, things like a Pandemic or something, where you just kind of take control of everything. That would be my, like I say, preferred way of playing the game. So I think the video has gone on long enough. I hope that you've had a good idea of what Marvel United is, how well it plays, what kind of a great little game it is, and that you are looking forward to watching the expansions. I've got 5 of them on the shelf over there, and I'm going to show you each one once a month until the end of the year. Comments below, guys. It's a hot day and I'm tired now. Got the sunbeam through the window here. Comments below. Have you played this? Are you a fan? X-Men or Avengers? Are you looking forward to this little mini series? Tell me your favourite heroes, you know, or your favourite villains. Tell me anything Marvel related, board game preferences, how hot it is today, where you are, anything you want. Lob me in a comment down below. Like, share, subscribe, comment. See you all next month.